The Hormuz paradox: why a superpower is constrained by a narrow strait. Imagine one of the most asymmetrical chessboards in modern geopolitics. On one side, the United States Navy, a global force built around 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, each a floating city of power projection worth billions of dollars. On the other, Iran, a heavily sanctioned state with a military arsenal often dismissed as outdated. Yet, in 2026, reality defies conventional expectations. In the narrow waters of the Strait of Hormuz, just 33 kilometers wide at its tightest point, Washington faces a strategic constraint that no amount of technological superiority can easily overcome. This is not a failure of firepower. It is the triumph of geography. The world's economic chokepoint. The Strait of Hormuz is more than a maritime corridor. It is the central artery of the global energy system. Roughly 20% of the world's oil consumption, about 21 million barrels per day, flows through this narrow passage. From Wall Street to Tokyo, markets are structurally tied to its stability. Geography grants Iran a natural strategic advantage. With nearly 2,000 kilometers of coastline along the northern edge of the strait, Tehran occupies the role of a de facto gatekeeper. Every tanker entering or leaving the Persian Gulf must pass within operational reach of Iranian territory. Iran does not need to dominate the oceans. It only needs to control the doorway. When billion-dollar technology becomes a liability. The U.S. Navy's most powerful assets, such as the Gerald R-class aircraft carrier, are designed for dominance in open oceans, where distance, stealth, and layered defense systems provide decisive advantages. Hormuz negates those advantages. In confined waters, the principle of standoff warfare collapses. To ensure the safe passage of commercial shipping, U.S. naval forces must operate closer to shore, bringing them within range of land-based missile systems. At the same time, the dense traffic of civilian vessels creates a complex identification problem. Advanced radar and surveillance systems struggle in environments where fishing boats, cargo ships, and potential threats coexist in close proximity. In such conditions, ambiguity becomes a weapon. The geometry of destruction. From a military standpoint, the Strait of Hormuz functions as a near-perfect kill box. Iran's coastal geography enhances this effect. The rugged terrain of the Zagros Mountains provides natural cover for missile systems and underground installations, shielding them from satellite detection and preemptive strikes. Meanwhile, maritime constraints force large vessels, particularly oil tankers, into narrow shipping lanes, sometimes only a few kilometers wide. These predictable routes reduce maneuverability and increase vulnerability. In essence, naval formations are transformed into linear targets, constrained, exposed, and easier to track. Asymmetry as strategy. Rather than confronting U.S. forces directly, Iran has developed a doctrine centered on asymmetric warfare. Fast attack craft, naval mines, and drones, including systems like the Shahed 136, are deployed to create saturation scenarios. The goal is not necessarily to destroy high-value targets outright, but to overwhelm defenses, complicate response times, and raise the cost of intervention. But perhaps Iran's most effective tool is not military, it is economic. Even the perception of risk in Hormuz can trigger immediate increases in maritime insurance premiums set in global hubs like London. The United States can escort individual vessels, but it cannot guarantee security for the thousands of transits that occur each month. In this context, disruption does not require sustained conflict. It requires uncertainty. The strategic dilemma. The United States faces a paradox. A large-scale military operation to secure the strait could neutralize immediate threats, but at the cost of triggering a broader regional conflict. Such escalation would almost certainly send global oil prices soaring, inflicting severe damage on the very economic system Washington seeks to protect. This creates a fundamental contradiction. The use of overwhelming force risks undermining strategic objectives. A hammer and a glass vessel. The situation in Hormuz can be distilled into a stark metaphor. The United States holds a hammer. Iran, by virtue of geography, holds a fragile but valuable glass vessel, the global energy supply chain. Striking the threat may eliminate it, but the impact could shatter the system itself. In an interconnected world, control over critical choke points can outweigh conventional military superiority. At the Strait of Hormuz, geography is not just a backdrop to power, it is power.